been giving this one a thought for some time. I've been thinking about just like how I want to present it or whatever. Like this theory, I presented this theory about how I think Rebirth is going to end, and I've been saying it since before we knew that it was going to be called Rebirth, right? Or that we knew for a fact it was going to be called Rebirth. One of the things I feel strongly about is that this game will end at the Northern Crater. I feel like that is going to remain intact, but what is the boss fight at the end of the game? Is it going to be just another Genova boss fight, or it's not going to be Sephiroth again? Most likely, it's probably not going to be Genesis, though it could be. I feel strongly, and a lot of you all know where I'm going with this, is that Cloud will be the final boss fight of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I have called it this version of Cloud Reunion Cloud, right? A little lead up is going to be, I think Aerith will survive up to this point. I think she'll still be in the party at this point, but I think she will die. Now, Cloud up to this point, he's going to be having issues with like Tifa and other party members and people poking holes in his story, and the introduction of Vincent and Sid and Yuffie to the party. These people are all going to be not all coming down on Cloud's case, but they're going to be saying things like, well, that doesn't really add up, or are you sure about that? Because there's a lot of high stakes right now, and everything that Cloud says, he has this direct relationship with Sephiroth. Everybody knows it now. Everything he says, people are going to pay attention to. Like, does this sound accurate? Does this sound accurate? So, throughout the game, people are going to be chattering to him, I feel like. In the trailer, we saw the part where they say, you know, what is fact? What is fiction? People are, as what I've been saying, people are going to be poking holes in Cloud's story. I think that's what that's alluding to. What is fact? What is fiction? Okay, Cloud, what's the truth here, man? Because some of what you're saying isn't adding up, especially when it comes to Tifa. We had that bit of dialogue where Tifa challenges Cloud on something, and it's not her in disbelief and thinking that something had happened to her. It's her being like, what? Is that what you're saying? That doesn't add up. You know, I think that's the tone she's taking. So we get to the Northern Crater. All these things have happened. He's got Sephiroth in his head. He knows something's going on with that. He's burdened by being the leader of the group. Temple of the Ancients. He has a psycho freak out and attacks Aerith like he did in OG. All these things are going to add up. And not only that, but you're going to have the inclusion of other characters from the compilation at this point. You know, your Genesises, the Svets, all these other characters that are going to be like, you know, they're going to know things, you know. So we get to the Northern Crater, right? He finally snaps. He loses it. He gives Sephiroth the Black Materia. Sephiroth, the rebirth, the whole rebirth storyline of Part 2 begins how it ended with Sephiroth's rebirth. Now he will physically be reborn. It'll be thanks to Cloud. Sephiroth needing Cloud to become stronger, to push through and all this stuff to achieve his goal of retrieving the Black Materia and getting it to him. I think Sephiroth has more in store for Cloud than just that, but I think that's a big part of it. So, where does this leave Cloud? What is Reunion Cloud? Reunion Cloud is a beast. Like, just completely gone. Like, because he has to be a part of the reunion. I think Cloud will be the jewel in the crown as far as Sephiroth and Genova are concerned for the reunion. The thought to be failed experiment, right? The thought to be failed test subject winds up being the ace in the hole for Sephiroth, basically. Cloud breaks. He completely just snaps. He doesn't like get taken over by Genova, but there's something else going on with Cloud. It's the invasion of Genova and Sephiroth. Sephiroth's already living rent-free in his mind. And then the invasion and the complete takeover of Genova, the planet speaking to him, the problems he's been having with the group, the burden of leadership, and he's not a leader. you know? So there's all this stuff going on. He just snaps. He just cracks. And then the final fight of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is in the Northern Crater with the ground shaking and Meteor being summoned and Sephiroth's body encased in the ice, the glaciers of the Northern Crater, and the black materia in his grasp. All this stuff happening, and Cloud just running amok through the battlefield, swinging the Buster Sword, screaming and roaring at the top of his lungs. He's like almost indiscernible. He's coming after everybody. He's coming out, he's swinging, he's going crazy. And can you imagine? Like, here's the thing. Remake really brought it with the big fight music. Like the big battles, all the big battles had these amazing killer scores that were amazing. This will be no different. Whatever they choose to be kind of like Cloud's theme or whatever, I feel like they will do this like up-tempo, like double kick drum, kind of heavy metal guitar, choir, orchestra thing going in the background. And like this dark version of what Cloud's theme is, like the overworld theme, right? But like hints of that weaving in and out with like those chosen by the planet, but like up tempo, like 120 beats or maybe 140 beats a minute, and just up tempo, just going crazy. Is that playing in the background with like a crazy dark choir? And the bit of music we heard in the Rebirth trailer, I think, is going to kind of allude to what that is. So just the music, I think, in this scene will be off the Richter scale. It's going to bring the emotion. It's going to bring the heightened tension. It's going to bring all these elements to it. And I for one, can't wait. I am totally and completely here for whatever they do musically with this spot. It's a tough fight in my head. Like, he can do everything. He's got his moves. He's got all of his stuff. You know, he might whip out some different moves or something on you, but the party has to put him down or subdue him. And I think it'll be a tough battle. And here's the wild thing about this battle too that a lot of people don't think about. There are a lot of different people present at this battle. So what's really killer to me is the way that it seems like the people in charge of making the remake saga, they're really big on bookending things, right? So at the end of Remake, we see Cloud in a desperate battle against Rufus Shinra, right? It can kind of be a tough battle if you don't know how to go about it, but he is in charge, and he's a formidable foe, and he is riding high, right? And Cloud's just trying to defend his people and help them get away from Rufus and the rest of Shinra and the Turks and everybody, Soldier. So, Rufus, Shinra, Hojo, all these other people are present here at the end. What if, you know, on top of having like Zack as a guest participant in the battle or whatever, you've got like someone else firing off in the background. You've got Rufus Shinra just popping off shots in the background as someone else who's jumping into the fight against Cloud or whatever, because he's that unstoppable. Like, Rufus isn't just in the background watching this happen. Like, he's the type of guy who is going to get on it. He's the type of guy who's going to jump in there. He's like, all right, like, let's go. You know, his soldiers or whatever Turks are with him and stuff. In this scene, it could be a different cast at this point. I think that would be really cool to go all out. They just go all out with this battle, and they just bring it, right? Because this is the lowest point for Cloud, but the highest point of the game, thematically and plot-wise at this point. All the players are in play. Everybody's present here. Everybody takes a piece of the cake. Everybody goes in and has a moment to play in this final battle. You resolve Cloud. You take care of business against Cloud, and that's not even talking about the Zack factor. I didn't want to talk about that. I think Zack will play a role in this because Zack, I think, will participate in this battle, and I think that is going to be the final straw that breaks the camel's back. In the trailer, we hear Cloud saying, "Where are you? You were here with me 5 years ago." That's obviously a line taken from when the party gets to Nibelheim in Rebirth. I think that's where that line comes from, because he's speaking as if he's there right now. You were here with me 5 years ago. Where are you? Zack's alive. By hook or crook, we'll get into that in another video. By hook or crook, Zack is alive in this timeline. It's not multi-dimensional. I think there's enough evidence to this point to prove that everything is in this timeline. It's just a changed time, like one timeline, right? One linear timeline. And it's just been changed. We'll get into that in another video. If you've seen my older videos, you know what I'm talking about with that. But Zack being alive, I think a lot is going to come flooding forth to Cloud. Like the experiments, all this other kind of stuff that he was damaged goods, and now it's going to break him mentally. And I think Zack will be a guest party member for this final battle, much like Red 13 was against Genova. And was he in the, yeah, he was in the other battles in the Singularity. So Zack will be kind of like a guest battle participant. I don't believe Zack becomes a regular party member because it's like having Cloud in your party, right? I don't think he'll pal around and travel with the party. I think it'll be one of those things in Game 3 where he's like, I've got other places I gotta go, I got things I gotta do. Aerith girl, I'll be back. Something terrible is gonna happen to Aerith and Zack or something. But staying on the point of Cloud, he breaks completely. You beat him, everything, the planet shakes, crumbles, opens up. That's how Game 2 is gonna end. Cloud falling into the live stream, the party not knowing what's going on. It's Empire Strikes Back, like I've said before. But to go in depth on this concept of reunion Cloud, I think it's a brilliant commentary on just how fragile the human mind is. The pressure of leadership, the pressure of measuring up, the pressure of, you put so much pressure on yourself, you crack, you break. And I think that's what's going to happen to Cloud. It's going to be a slow burn. Like, we're going to see it starting in Rebirth. It's going to be a slow burn throughout this game, thematically, until he just breaks. And that Game 2 will end on that tragic note, in my opinion, of Cloud being physically defeated, put down like an animal, and just completely mentally and spiritually broken. And that will add so much more potency to the third game when Tifa has to repair, like Tifa has to help repair him, just like an OG. For me, in the original Final Fantasy, the most potent sequence and moment in that entire game is when Cloud has to work through his demons in his most broken, most emotional, most devastated state. And he's comatose. He's just Mako exposure and everything. And with the help of his childhood friend Tifa, going through the live stream with him, helping him figure these things out, with the Who Am I track playing and real eerie feeling. It's just such a brilliant moment. One of my favorite moments in gaming is when the music swells and he's put himself back together, and you know, he's all three Clouds come together and he's whole again. That's what this is all going to build up to. That's what this is all going to build up to. So the concept of reunion Cloud is like his darkest, lowest state, like the completely broken and torn down hero before he's rebuilt and resurrected in a sense to what he can be, to what he can achieve. So that's my full thoughts on Reunion Cloud. I know a lot of you all have been wanting me to talk about this concept of Reunion Cloud. He's just going to be an animal. He's going to be a beast. He's super powered. But I think it's important to say that he's not, I don't feel like he's going to be controlled by Genova. It's going to be everything that's happened to him. You know, mindless, broken. Why would he attack the party? He's completely broken. The rage, it's like mental issues. His rage just boils to the surface, you know. And there could be an element of control there, but I don't think it'll be Genova. I think it'll be more about Sephiroth's control over Cloud, because he is in his mind mentally. He is there. He exists almost as a completely separate version of Sephiroth exists in Cloud's head. Whether that's not Cloud imagining that, because he actually tells Cloud his plans, all this other kind of stuff. This shot is shown right here in this trailer. It's playing in the video right now. Imagine that version of Cloud when he screams and goes after Sephiroth when they're in the drum. That's Reunion Cloud. Like, that's the power that Sephiroth has over Cloud, right? In this version, Sephiroth killed Cloud's mother in front of him. Cloud remembers killing Sephiroth in this version. He didn't remember that in OG. So this concept of Reunion Cloud goes deeper than just him being controlled by Jenova and Cloud's the final boss fight. There's a lot of like psychological, emotional kind of writing going on here. So I think that's where we're going. I think the whole storyline with Cloud and Rebirth, he's going to have victories and stuff like that. And he's going to have chummy moments with the party and stuff, but those highs are going to hit valleys when something comes out of his mouth where he says something and they're like, oh, that doesn't add up. You know what? And so it's going to be awkward, right? It's going to be very awkward. So the whole end game with this concept of Reunion Cloud, I think it's a winner. I do, and I really have a strong feeling that's how Rebirth is going to end. Of course, you know, the Empire Strikes Back ending, I always say, with, you know, Cloud's in the live stream and the party's been basically captured by Shinra. At least Barrett and Tifa have been captured by Shinra. You know, the weapons are running amok. They're awakened. Meteor's been summoned. It's hurling toward Gaia, and Cloud is lost. He's lost physically. He's lost mentally. He's lost emotionally. He's just a vessel flowing through the live stream, basically. Washes up in Medial. So. But anyway, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? I'm very curious. This is a video I've been wanting to get out for a few weeks. Thank you all for being patient. I've been putting out a lot of content lately and a lot more content coming. But this is one that I feel very strongly about, near and dear to me. I love the scene in the original game. For my money, in all the Final Fantasy games, I think it's the most important scene in all of them. You know, it's like this real commentary on just being broken mentally, being at your lowest place and not giving up, but just being completely defeated. Being defeated and giving up are two different things. Just being completely defeated and broken and coming back from that. That's the real hero's journey. That's the real hero's journey. Slaying the dragon is just the result of overcoming yourself. And that's what Cloud represents. Like other Final Fantasy heroes do too. Like Squall has to overcome himself, and Tidus to an extent, and all these other characters. But Cloud, the most obvious representation of you have got to overcome yourself to slay the dragon. That's why that story is so potent to me and speaks volumes, and it's something you can take with you. And I think Square Enix knows that. But Rebirth, we're going to see him broken down to his lowest point. So anyway, your thoughts on that, let me know. Throw a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a YouTube member, become a rock star, or a Patreon member. Details are in the video description. Thank you all of you for the support. All the new people, Nick, new patron, shout out to Nick, brother, appreciate you, and everybody else out there. And until I see you all again, have a great night, be safe, be good to each other, and keep rocking. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. I want to say a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members and supporters. If you would like to support the future creation of content on this channel, get some few extra perks and some art sent to your door every month, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. Details and links are in the video description.